Man, we're already a month and a half into 2026 and I still haven't made any videos this year. Granted, I spent most of January overseas, and after I got back, I started the grind of applying for both jobs and master's degrees. And with me starting a new job in just a few weeks, and my master's later this summer, I gotta do something to keep this channel from dying. Well, Sonic Racing CrossWorlds seems to do well on my channel for some reason, so how about that? The game's been pretty steady with its DLC. We've gotten new Sega characters almost every month, and the first half of the season pass has been released. With Tangle and Whisper coming out later this month, please add voice acting for them, Sega. The Chaotix Case Files voices are almost perfect. That leaves the next few months to give us the remaining DLC. While we know that the Mega Man, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Avatar content will make up the remainder of the season pass, what we don't know are the remaining free Sega characters. And since the recent State of Play gave us no new info about the game, but hey, God of War Trilogy remake with the OG Kratos voice actor, am I right? I thought it would be fun to make some predictions on who might join the race. Before we start, subscribe. But anyways, let's get right into it. The first prediction I have is a character that, like Knights and II, have crossed over with Sonic many times before. That being Beat from Jet Set Radio. Now, spoiler alert, I haven't played any other Sega games besides Sonic and Persona, so I have no idea on what the general consensus of Jet Set Radio as a game is, but from what I've seen, it looks pretty cool. With Beat, the game's main protagonist, having crossed over with Sonic before, as well as the announcement of new games coming after a long hiatus, I think this game would be the perfect spot to get Beat warmed up for his big return. Speaking of big returns, another series that recently had a new game announced after some dormancy is Virtua Fighter. We already have some variety in game genres that the guests come from, like rhythm, RPG, whatever Knights is supposed to be, but so far we haven't had any fighting game representation. And no, this isn't like Smashy Bros, where the Shotos just don't work with the gameplay of Smash. This is just a racing game, and seeing Akira Yuki here would be pretty cool. And as a bonus, instead of using his Virtua Fighter 5 design again, maybe they could use his upcoming design for Virtua Fighter 6, as part of a promotion for the game. A Sega-ish series that I could see going 50-50 on being added is Angry Birds. I say Sega-ish because Sega's acquisition of Rovio is still relatively recent, but Angry Birds was a revolutionary series that even got its own trilogy of movies. Wait, trilogy? There was a second movie? Anyways, yeah, Rud's a pretty likely pick because of Angry Birds' popularity, and of course Rovio being the developers of the definitely successful Sonic Rumble. While I prefer if they went with the OG designs, let's face it, they're gonna use the movie design. They already did in Sonic Forces Speed Battle, it's pretty inevitable. And to round out our Sega series that have crossed over with Sonic before, we have Amigo from Samba de Amigo. Yeah, we already have some rhythm game representation, and yeah, we just had a monkey added as a playable character, but I can't help it. I watched some gameplay of Samba de Amigo, and it's a nice vibe to say the least. And being based on Latin American culture really helps him stand out, so I think he's got a likely shot. Now this next game is pretty popular, and I've seen characters from this game get requested a lot, but whether it'll actually happen or not is really unclear because of recent events. I'm of course talking about Puyo Puyo Tetris. In particular, I've seen Arl get lots of requests to be added. However, recently Sega decided to add Puyo Puyo decals to the game, and that's been causing concern and speculation about the likelihood of them adding actual characters in the future. But you know what? If Smash Ultimate can have Min Min, Pyra, and Mythra as spirits in the base game, then add them later as some of the most obnoxious DLC characters ever, then this game can certainly do the same with Puyo Puyo. So yeah, I'll go ahead and stick Arl here as my 5th pick. So who does that leave as the final one, you may ask? Well, the State of Play back in November took us by surprise when they revealed that Tangle and Whisper, two characters from the IDW comics, would be joining the game in addition to these Sega characters. This came as a shock, mostly for two reasons, because one, we thought the only Sonic characters on the roster would be the ones in the base game, plus the Werehog and Prime bonus characters. And two, Tangle and Whisper had not appeared in any actual Sonic games at this point, having only appeared in mobile games. But now we get to see these two join the competition with the actual cast later this month. But something feels missing. You know, as Knuckles the Echidna once said,
"Rule of threes, your majesty!"
Because these two weren't the only IDW characters that appeared in these mobile games, there was also Surge the Tenrec, a new rival whose lightning powers made her one of the toughest rivals Sonic's ever fought. And if Tangle and Whisper can get in, then Surge should as well. The only obstacle I could see in including her is the fact that Japan is supposedly really behind on IDW releases, but perhaps if they save Surge for the final spot, then maybe that'll better justify bringing her in. Regardless, we need to see Search join the game for that IDW villain representation, and so she can escape from the lousy world of mobile games, like Tangle and Whisper did. And that pretty much does it. Those are my predictions for the remaining free Sega characters coming to Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. Sorry if this video is shorter than most of my other ones, I just needed to get something out. Anyways, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz, and I will see you guys next time.